as we initiate chaos theory guarantees that we'll play like lightning shots.
I'm gonna spawn and for some peace of mind, but TikTok said a gator drove a jeep through the blinds. Florida man's at it again with fireworks and a goat, and someone married a ghost in a Dollar Tree coat. Hey, what in the Walmart rapture is going on? Aliens dancing in a Waffle House song. Karen's got a taser in the checkout line, and Dr. Oz just adopted birds to fight off crime. Oh, I'm just sitting here scrolling my jaw on the floor. The internet's a circus and I can't take no more. Yeah, when it's wildin', there's a raccoon in the sink. Someone robbed a Wendy's just to steal a frosty drink. A pastor's gone viral yelling about the end is near, while folks ride hoverboards in wedding gear. Hey, what in the Walmart rapture is this mess? Florida's a movie, but it's filmed in VHS. Someone fed meth to a squirrel named Dave, and now he's in a cage just throwing rave. I'm just...
Good morning, everyone. As you can tell, we are firing on all one of six cylinders today. Hagatha, we knew the flare cometh, and the flare arriveth last night. And it's kind of good that flares are a bit like childbirth in my experience, in that I forget how sucktastic they are until I'm in one. And then I'm like, I forgot that I RSVP'd no to these. I had, in fact, yes, I should be doing the Afro Man trial. I'm hoping to get all of the clips together so I can start working on that today. I also, if you guys would like to take part in the poll, I would definitely love to, and part of the live stream can become a video because part of it is going to be a story time. But it occurred to me that part of what pissed me off so much about the Corey Richmond trial was I had genuinely thought, that she had written a book for people who find themselves in the unlikely situation that I found myself in, that Miss Lewis found herself in. And I thought that genuinely something good could come out of a crappy situation. Well, she turned out to have not even written her own book. And it occurred to me that, because I was thinking, like, should I write a book? And I was like, ugh, I don't really want to write a book. My genre is videos, but then I thought, why not do a stream? So basically, I am going to be doing a stream / story time and question and answer time about how I dealt with explaining grief to my children and the loss of their father. Because it's such a niche situation, and you don't really know where to look for things or to find things. And I figure YouTube, I'll just kind of send my video out there, and if it can help someone eventually, because there's no right or wrongs. I don't think I'm Jesus or Oprah, but if the situations I've had to walk through that were kind of craptastic, still, can help someone else, then that is the great thing. Now, I will try to answer all questions, but if they do go into other people's reaction about my first husband's passing, that's their story. So I won't get into other people's reactions. And, I'll kind of be really general about my kiddos' kind of stories, just because, again, this is their story. But I'll be really open and transparent about, how everything felt as a parent, and where I think I messed up, and where I would encourage people to take different choices. That being said, grief is such an individual thing that, you don't have to take my word for it. I'm not LeVar Burton. So that's kind of what I was planning on doing this week too. So, and thank you, Squab Bob, for gifting a membership. And that went to TC May Lee, or Maylin, sorry. As I said, I got it. So I have a profession as we do. When Hagatha takes over, I become, well, honest. They really don't need sodium pentothal or pentothal for me. I mean, just wait till I'm in a flare and ask me a question, and I can't lie. Well, I don't lie. And of course, when I tell a fib to Mr. Mo, I usually out myself fairly quickly. In fact, I outed myself on the Mofessional I'm about to tell you guys now, uh, this morning. But, um, so I know how hard after I had to take Mr. Mo to the hospital, I know how hard it is to sit there and know there is nothing to do to make, uh, any, bit of their pain better. So, Mr. Mo doesn't know for the past year, on really bad days, I will pretend to fall asleep because there's nothing for him to do. There's nothing for him to do, and I don't want him to have to sit there and you know, sit next to me and watch me in pain. So instead of being honest that I love you, but even the way you're breathing is irritating the living snot out of me, I would simply roll over and pretend to go to sleep. Because, communicate, as much as I tell you guys, like, communicate, people aren't mind readers. As I said, not Oprah. I do not follow my own teachings half the time. And he's like, so you could have just told me, "Hey, I'm in a lot of pain and I just want you to leave." And I was like, "I know, but I feel bad because I know you wanna do something to help." And and he's like, "Or you could just tell me to leave." And I was like, "I know, but because you are a golden retriever person, you want to, like, cuddle and, comfort me, and I want you to leave me alone." So he's like, "Yeah, how about next time you just tell me to go up to my room or to your room because, you need to be alone." And I was like, "Yeah, that would just be straightforward, and why would I do that? I mean, what is marriage when I'm not, sending mixed signals?" As I said, 90% logical and like being married to a dude, 10% irrational. The and that's why I feel bad because I know he wants to help and there's just nothing he can do, and I feel bad because there really isn't anything he can do, uh, because I have asked him, um so here's what it's like living with Mo on a flare. Mr. Mo is sitting next to me on the bed. "Mr. Mo," and he's like, "Yeah?" Now, he does this every time. You would think he would figure out the joke by now. And I was like, "So, you have access to saws?" And he's like, "Yeah, I have all sorts of tools." And I was like, "All sorts of saws, you say?" And he's like, "Yes, I have many saws." And he's been with me long enough. He's like, "I will not cut off your leg." And I was like, "We have vodka. I have a leather belt. Let's do this crap, okay?" Now, that's my usually my first gambit, and then when he's not, willing to do Civil War surgery on me, I'm like, "Okay, you like Star Trek?" And he's like, "I am not doing the Vulcan neck grip on you." Again, these are real conversations that have happened with me and Mr. Mo while Hagatha is in charge. And he's like, "Will you stop?" And I was like, "No, look, I watch trials. I'm pretty sure if I signed consensually that this is totally okay, I am totally alright with it, you will not go to jail. I mean, look at me. Wait, no, you might go to jail if you listen to me. But if I get on stand, no one will hate you for listening to me because I'm quite persuasive." Yeah, so those would be the conversations Mr. Mo has to put up with when I am in a flare. That being said, we are going to attempt to do headlines. It's not gonna be 100% squirrel, today, despite Hagatha's best efforts. Now, I did wanna wait a little bit on this story because, like I always tell you guys, with these bigger events, the first 24, 48 hours, we're gonna get a lot of speculation, and these are definitely unfolding stories, and we might not exactly know all of the details right now, but I will be looking for updates. New details are emerging about the New Mexico U.S. Air Force Base shooting that left one dead and one injured. The shooting at a New Mexico Air Force Base on Tuesday that left a military veteran dead and an active duty military service member injured does have an update. Now, violence erupted near a convenience store known as a Shopette on Holloman Air Force Base near Alamogordo at around 5:30 p.m., plunging the entire 93 square mile base into a lockdown, according to the 49th Wing in a statement to the New York Post. Now, a service member who was assigned to the base was injured in by the gunfire. A civilian and military veteran who was previously stationed at Holloman Air Force Base was killed at the scene, according to authorities during this update. Now, the injured service member has not been publicly identified, but is in stable condition, according to this update. Now, the active shooter lockdown was later lifted by the base, roughly 100 miles north of El Paso, Texas, and the base was deemed safe. Now, two individuals involved in the shooting were not married, despite the shooting being domestic in nature, and it's not clear how the pair were related, beyond them definitely knowing each other or being related in some sort of way. Now, details were not available on how the shooting unfolded or who fired the shots. So again, I will be looking at updates on this, but it does seem like there are not a lot of details that are coming out with them having actually caught the individuals who are involved in this. I do expect that we are probably going to be looking at a military trial. I will try to keep up with that, but again, the publishing and media on those type of trials is a little bit different than a civilian trial. Now, the shopette is closed until further notice, according to the 49th Wing on a Facebook page late Tuesday, and it's unclear whether the store has reopened. Now, officials believe that the shooting was an isolated incident and that there was no active threat to the rest of the base community. We do ask that individuals avoid speculating on social media regarding the incident out of respect for families involved, and the incident is still under investigation, and additional details will be provided as they become available. So I will keep up on this to try to see if we get any more info, but it will be interesting to see what they let out because it is essentially an entirely different world when something happens on a military base as far as procedurally and which kind of tribunals and courts are involved. So it'll be interesting. Well, now I feel incredibly sorry for this person and his family. Good night, nurse. A newly elected Idaho mayor, Rick Hogaboam, 47, passed away after collapsing mid speech during a town hall. A newly elected Idaho mayor passed away shortly after he collapsed mid speech during a town hall meeting as another elected leader attempted to save his life. Napa Mayor Rick Hogabaum. That is just a not to speak ill of the recently passed. That is an interesting name, sir. He suffered a medical emergency while speaking at around 6:45 p.m. Wednesday in Eagle, Idaho, according to Idaho News. Now, Eagle Mayor Brad Pike, who was sitting next to him, was the first to attempt CPR. The Treasure Valley Partnership Town Hall meeting was adjourned as the politician was being treated by police, fire crew, and medics, who all rushed to the scene. Unfortunately and sadly, all resuscitation efforts were unsuccessful, and he passed away just 2 months after being sworn in as mayor of Napa, located west of Boise. Now, he prevailed in November's election with 62% of the vote, defeating three rivals and becoming the 31st mayor in the process. Now, he was known for his love of the Buffalo Bills, having moved from Western New York to Idaho in 2008. He later served as the chief of staff to the former mayor, Debbie King, his predecessor, for about 4 years. Now, he had worked as a city council person, a substitute Idaho state senator, and Cannon County clerk, where he was responsible for the county's budget and elections. Now, his office does describe his death as an unbelievable loss, while the Idaho House of Republicans described him as someone more than a public servant. He was a steady hand, a thoughtful leader, and a friend who genuinely cared about the future of the community. So, just terribly sad. Now, he does leave behind his wife, Mimi, 5 children, and a grandchild. And I do hope that they are supporting each other and genuinely caring for each other. It's hard to lose a family member, and I hope that the entire community is supporting them. It seems so sad, and I am glad that people didn't just whip out their phones and look at the man collapsing, but actually got up and helped him. Now, I don't know why there is always another day, another teacher. We are running out of room in Snake Island, and yet they persist. Well, buckle in, y'all. We found another one. One-way ticket to Snake Island.
It's a curse, we've got a rule for the wicked, the cruel and the worst. If you lie, if you cheat, if your soul's made of bile, you're bound for the fangs and the venom in style. Oh, one-way ticket to Snake Island. Oh, where the conscience, less cowards and gaslighters go. No anchor, no lifeboat, no tearful goodbyes. Just hissing and coming in cold-blooded skies. Your friend.
A Colorado school secretary admitted to grossness with a child, 13, multiple times, and now she's on the run from the cops. Please make it death race. Where is David Carradine when you need him? Or is it... I'm just saying, look, why? What is wrong with you women? Seriously, do we need to have a team of psychologists figure out what happened to women that I can't go a day doing mornings with Mo without just a whole bushel full of grotesque female teachers that need to be on Snake Island? I mean, I shouldn't have bushels of teachers of grossness. I really shouldn't. I should have to hunt for this. So y'all want to make fun of as a recovering Catholic, I would just like to state, y'all want to make fun of the church, but I think we need to have a discussion about public schools. Not that I'm not saying, there isn't an issue with the former Catholic Church and their protection, but I have seen the same behavior from teachers unions. So if we'd like to have a chitty chat, let's have a real chat, because I'm thinking we need profiling of public school teachers, and we need to be able to search their phone at any time, because I don't know what to do anymore. A Colorado middle school secretary is on the lam after authorities say she was abusing a 13-year-old student for months, even giving him alcohol and weed during their grossness sessions at a park and a Walmart parking lot. Now, police in Greeley have been unable to locate it. Oh, for goodness sake, English, my first language, and I still can't get it. Baker's over here with like 16 languages. I'm like, English, still working to master it. Brenda Meza, 34, since an initial interview in which she told the cops how she, groomed, then violated an 8th grader from Franklin Middle School, according to an arrest affidavit. Now, according to police, Brenda, who also coaches the cross country team and advises the games club, said she became so infatuated with the boy that she would get jealous if he talked to girls her own age. Sick, gross, what is wrong with you? She also told the teen that his oh, not even Snake Island, where is nope, y'all, you're gonna agree, but I have changed my verdict. Judge Moe and Hagatha reserve the right to change, hypothetical punishments if Moe was president, but the next sentence has upgraded her to Lord Chippy, so y'all pray.
They're our skin, they steal our grace. These monsters wear a human face. No gavel, no badge, no throne, no crown can stop Lord Chippy from burning them down. Justice ain't fast, justice ain't clean. It's a long, sharp road through the in-between. So raise your fists and light your flames. Chippy's coming and he don't play games.
This human piece of corroded dumpster water, allegedly in Minecraft, since I'm not allowed to diagnose people, I lack neither the medical license nor the psychiatric license, but I can call a spade, decided to tell this young child she was abusing that his manhood was bigger than her husband and she felt like she knew him in another life. Now, the boy told cops he thought it was corny, but went along with it. Now, an anonymous tip about Maza's alleged abuse of the teen came to the school in early February. Now, after she was confronted by school officials, she went home and confessed to her husband that, oh, Afro Man is not a defense. She had gotten high. Because I got high is not a damn defense. Afro Man and I rebuke you in the name of Mary Jane, because don't you dare blame Cheech and Chong or the devil's lettuce for you being a PDF, okay? No, 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 no. As a person who may dabble in the um, you know, alternative stuff for my pain, I can tell you that not once has it made me, you know, ever, ever decide to cross a line that I knew was icky, gross, and disgusterating. So I don't think you can blame it on, stank or skunk, which is a popular game here in rural Indiana. And 99 times out of 100, it is not a skunk. Let me just tell you. It's not like we are chaste and Pollyanna out here in rural Indiana. No, no. We do play, skunk or chronic, or at least I do, and let's just say 99% of the time there is no skunk around, okay? It's not like we are unaware of what happens, but I can tell you that I do not believe that that is a side effect. It is not a, again, I think we can get Afroman, you are invited onto my channel to explain how this heifer is wrong and to tell me where you got your amazing suit because I need about 5. Any hoozle, you are welcome to it. Come here and explain why this heifer is wrong. I always forget that I'm mirrored and I'm not good with directions anyways. Why would I it's not like being mirrored or not mirrored is gonna help me. Now her husband, being the awesome Chad that he is, decided to call the popo on her after she confessed, which good on you, sir. At first, the school employee told the cops that she and the boy got super close to each other and almost, rounded home base. Now, then she later admitted to abusing the child in the backseat of her car. After the tryst had taken, basically, the boy found her Instagram during Thanksgiving break, and then they started sexting. Ugh. Now, she basically purchased edibles and, cocktails, the little buzz balls. What in the lock her oh, President Trump. Sir, I continue my stance that I do not like any politicians, but I might become a fan if you send all of these gross-tastic teachers to Greenland. Didn't we done buy it from Denmark? I We have an island now. Let's send them Greenland can now become Chomo Island, okay? Vote for Mo for president. Greenland will turn into the biggest open air prison, and my slogan will be Geneva Who? Allegedly in Minecraft. I'm just y'all, it's just ugh. I am just beyond tired of every day. I am not joking with you guys. There are tons of these stories that I don't cover. I'm really wondering, I am not being facetious. I am wondering if there is a a link between the millennial psyche or something therein that makes women vulnerable or very susceptible to this somewhat delayed or arrested development that makes them stay in this teenage infantile relationship cycle. I don't know, but there is has this been a problem that we've always just put a blind eye on, or that is become more prevalent over the years? Because I can't tell. I love that my presidency is going to come about because I have decided to make Greenland an open air prison. Well, speaking of open air prisons and another person for Greenland, in a shock to no one, in a repressive religious culture where any sort of sexuality is deemed gross and, well, satanic, uh, it can mutate sexuality. Now, I don't know as far as the nature versus nurture, but the Duggars have some questions to be answering because I don't think it's hereditary. Now, I do preface this with these are allegations. He has not been adjudicated guilty, and for legal purposes, he is presumed innocent until adjudicated guilty. But another Duggar has been arrested and accused of touching a child inappropriately. 19 Kids and Counting star Joseph Garrett Duggar was arrested and accused of child grossness with a 9-year-old girl in Florida on Wednesday. Now, the 31-year-old reality star was charged with lewd and lascivious behavior involving a victim under the age of 12 and lewd and lascivious behavior toward a victim aged 18 or older, according to the Bay County Sheriff's Office. Now, per the sheriff's office, they were contacted by the Town Police Department in Arkansas and made aware of past abuse incident involving a now 14-year-old. Now, in a forensic interview, the victim told officers that she was 9 years old in 2020 when she was allegedly involved in several incidents with Duggar during a family getaway in Panama City Beach, Florida. Now, the victim recalled how Duggar would allegedly sit her on his lap and then cover them with a blanket. I'm not going to proceed, but now, at the time, the victim recalled various times when he would do this. Now, the victim recalled the businessman later stopping after he apologized. Yes, this is the second. This is the second. And here's the thing. Look, Mr. Mo and I talked about this. Now, Mr. Mo is a much better Christian than I am. I tend to do my worship at home, and Sundays are the one day that I kind of explained it to Mr. Mo. Sundays are the one day I allow myself to take the mask off. Like, I'm in pain, but I'm not gonna show it. So, Sundays are kind of my day where I give myself just, you're in pain, you can lay in bed, like a recharge day. And the very last that I probably need look, I could change my day if I wanted to, but Sunday has always been my day for this. Um, So I would rather just stay home and have a talk with God myself, read my Bible in quiet and just relax. Now, that being said, both Mr. Mo and I, while we encourage our children to, seriously consider waiting for marriage, we understand reality. And I would much rather now I know both are sinful, but I'd much rather my boys, slap the monkey than touch people. So, you know, if the biggest thing we have to worry about our boys is, "Hey, you need to do that in private, you need to wash your hands after," and, you know, that kinda thing, then that's what we're doing. But to make natural urges and behaviors and body processes evil or shameful or wrong creates an environment that leads to this secrecy, this shame, and, you know, it's just Jim Bob always gave me the creeps. I am not gonna lie. Jim Bob always creeped me the hell out. Um, I am not shocked by this. I would not be shocked if more allegations about more Duggars come out in the future. I sincerely hope that all victims, get the support that they need, but these are the type of things that turn people away from religion. Religion shouldn't be, not accepting your humanity. We Here's my thing. Look, I'm not gonna tell you how to live your life as the world's worst Christian. Here's how I feel. God doesn't want us to give up our humanity. He understands we are a fallen people and are never going to measure up to that. He's measuring us on how we are working towards achieving, you know, as much perfection as we can. He's not asking us not to be human. And when you make natural body urges, natural things, you know, verboten, shameful, you create fear, you create shame, and you block those communications. So when a child is doing something bad, when they're crossing inappropriate lines, then the victim and the child crossing the line are both terrified to come up and confide that this is very wrong. So you can ignore that, humans are sexual creatures at your own peril. There's a reality. We are called to be more than our biology, but there's a reality. So I don't get the Duggars is basically all I'm saying. But these things typically do run in families, and I would not be shocked. I'm not a crystal ball person. I wouldn't be shocked if there aren't more allegations in the coming years. But wearing skirts, going to church all the time, having a bunch of children doesn't make you godly. Having a bunch of tattoos, having, piercings doesn't make you ungodly. It's how you live your life. At least that's what I think. Now, in interesting news, a cold case of an Iowa realtor's mysterious murder has finally been cracked after 15 years. Now, it will be interesting to see if this goes to trial. Like usual, I pull things based on the headlines and then we read them together. The mysterious death of an Iowa realtor who was found shot twice at an open house 15 years ago has finally been solved. Kristen Elizabeth Ramsey, 53, has been indicted by a grand jury on first-degree murder charges on Tuesday in the killing of realtor Ashley Oakland on April 8, 2011, the West Des Moines Police Department has announced at a press conference on Wednesday. Interesting. Now, Oakland, 27, was found lying on the floor by an employee for the development company after she was shot twice while hosting an open house inside a West Des Moines model townhouse for Iowa Realty Company in the early afternoon. Now, this is according to a Crime Stoppers of Central Iowa. Now, she was rushed to the local hospital, but unfortunately, she was pronounced dead. Now, Ramsey had worked as an administrative assistant and sales manager for Rutland Homes, the developer of the townhouse where Oakland was fatally shot, according to the Des Moines Register. Now, the accused murderer is currently an employee at Midland Title and Escrow, which is connected to the realty company that Oakland worked for when she died. Iowa Realty told the outlet in a statement that the company removed Ramsey from its website on Wednesday. Now, the motive for Oakland slaying has not been clarified by the press conference. Ashley's story has haunted a very vibrant community of professional realtors who have been forever changed by how they open reading is fundamental. How they hold open houses and conduct business on a daily basis, Assistant Police Chief Jody Hayes told reporters. Now, investigators have followed up on thousands of leads from the public and reviewed countless evidence in connection with Oakland's murder case. Ashley's story has kept us awake at night, revisiting the details over and over in our minds, searching for that missing piece that would tie everything together and lead us down the right path to identifying the person who is responsible for this act. Now, cops didn't further comment on how they connected the missing piece that led to Ramsey's arrest. It would be interesting to see the probable cause affidavit. I might contact Jedi Jess to see what kind of probable cause they found, because this is going to be an interesting case. Now, we are still in the infancy of this moving to a, watchable trial, but I foresee this being a wild trial. As a significant as significant as this arrest is, our work is not done yet, said Hayes. Josh Oakland and Brittany Bruce, both Ashley's younger siblings, thanked the authorities and the community for their support during the years leading up to Ramsey's arrest during the press conference. The day of Ramsey's arrest was, quote, a day my family has thought about often for the last 15 years, Josh Oakland told reporters. That Friday afternoon when Ashley was taken from us seems so long ago. Bruce added, we lost our hope in finding answers and having justice for Ashley. It was really difficult to accept that case went cold. Their dedication and commitment to Ashley, their drive and work ethic, is a true gift from God that we feel fortunate to be touched by, Bruce said of the police investigation. Now, Ramsey is currently being held at the Dallas County Jail. So I will be digging more into this case because, like I said, this is going to be a very interesting trial. We're going to be dealing with, an investigation that went cold. And a lot of questions about the defense are probably going to be, how was that evidence collected? How was it stored? And I'm just hoping that we're not going solely on ballistics. So this will be a really interesting case to watch as it goes through. I do believe this has been a pretty big cold case that has been pretty prevalent. I'll have to go back, but this is ringing a lot of bells, and I do believe that this is a pretty big unsolved case. So I will be interested to watch it go through the legal kind of loops. Now, we have some good, some bad, and some ugly, but the rest of the headlines are basically, if you're new here, I call them final form Jesus headlines, but basically they are the headlines that make you wonder if we are in fact at the end times, if this was written in Revelation, or if the timeline has simply taken a gummy and acid at the same time. You never know, but here you guys are, the headlines that only Mo finds, the final form Jesus stories of the day.
The key keep its grove, thou glowing shrine of thirst traps, scams, and dollar signs. We chant in tones both grim and low, for virtue fled a long time ago. Kyrie eleison, Christ they descend at, final form Jesus return in wrath. With six-pack glistening, sword in hand, he cometh swift to cleanse the land.
Now, y'all, I'm trying not to be hateful. Like, my New Year's resolution has been to be nicer to people, but I don't even know what to say. I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you're if you're in a moving vehicle, Don't get atop it and decide to start twerking half naked. It could be dangerous. I mean, I'm torn between bless his heart and this is what you get for being stupid. And I feel bad for, like, feeling a bit Rhett Foreman, like, "Dumbass," but that's kinda where I am today. A half-naked twerking spring breaker was hurled from a Jeep in a horrifying Texas crash. A half-naked reveler in Texas twerked atop a speeding Jeep just moments before the vehicle's drunk driver smashed into a car and sent him flying. The 22-year-old man sustained a serious head injury after flying off the Jeep in a spring break hotspot of Port Aransas, a beach enclave near Corpus Christi. Now, the video, which has gone viral, now I won't be showing this because YouTube gets a little Twitter pated if you show violence, and unless your name is CNN, CBS, ABC, or any of the big guys. Now, a man was dancing suggestively on the roof with just some shorts on. Now, the Jeep's driver, Riley Rhodes, was arrested for a DWI after failing a breathalyzer test. My shock. Rose faces a charge of intoxication assault and is being held in county jail on a $10,000 bond. The tragic high-speed twerking was but one of several incidents in a weekend of chaos for Port Aransas, which only has about 3,000 permanent residents but hosts up to 80 to 100,000 spring breakers every year, according to the town mayor. Now, a 17-year-old from San Antonio allegedly sent 5 people to the hospital when he opened fire on the beach late Saturday night. Now, prosecutors claim that the alleged shooter, Ernesto Hosea Castillo, pulled out a force multiplier and started blasting during a confrontation between two rival groups. Oh, the Jets and the Sharks. Now, he does face 5 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, each charge carrying a $100,000 bond. Well, isn't that special? What in the name of Mary, Joseph, and tiny baby Jesus is going on here? What is wrong with the world when the Sandlot stars are messing up? Also, Sandlot might be one of my favorite movie. My family, like, my family loves Sandlot so much that we will talk to each other in shorthand of, like, Sandlot's quotes, like, "You're killing me, Smalls." S'more? S'more of what? How can I have s'more of something when I didn't have anything? Or people called about all the Robert my favorite thing is forever, forever. Some girl, baby Ruthie. Y'all, I'm gonna have to watch The Sandlot today. I watched Little Giants yesterday. Y'all, let me give you a little tip from Mama Mo. A Mo you know moment, just in case you didn't. Uh, Little Giants is free on YouTube. I don't know if anyone has had kind of a craptastical last couple weeks. I don't know who needs to hear this, but Little Giants, I repeat, with Rick Moranis, Icebox, and Devin Sawa, who I might or might not have had a gigantic crush on after seeing him in Casper at the end. I'm just saying. Look, if you grew up in the early '90s and you weren't in love with Devin Sawa, we can't be friends, okay? So, all that is to say that this is one of my favorite movies, and at least it's not Squints Palledorous that's messing up, 'cause I truly believe that he and, oh, what is it? Wendy Peppercorn are still together. A night out in Hollywood took a violent turn for the Sandlot actor Marty York, who was filmed engaging in a physical fight outside a popular Los Angeles nightclub, as you do. Now, footage was obtained by TMC because those vultures will buy anything with people who used to be famous in it. capturing the 43-year-old actor best known for his role as Alan Yahya McLennan in the 1993 cult classic The Sandlot, fighting with another man Saturday outside the Warwick nightclub on Sunset Boulevard. Well, let's see. Um, why are his swim trunks so tight? Now I barely understand women's fashion, so I don't presume to understand men's fashion, but I thought swim trunks were supposed to be baggy, like gym shorts. I am all the confusioned, but I do like the dog's hat. I don't know, they kinda remind me of Captain and Tennille. Love, love will keep us together. I don't know why I went to that, but there you go. What, we're not gonna show him shirtless? Well, there you go. Turns out you who knew that becoming a who knew that being a Hollywood star was a bad thing for children? Oh, just about everyone? Well, who'd have guessed? Well, in case you were worried that science just isn't doing anything to help the world, we have tackled the pressing problem of how to make your goldfish mobile. Why the hell are we spending money on this? If people wanna throw away money legitimately, have you thought about donating to my 100% for-profit charity, Mo's House? Every single dollar goes to my house and, well, crafting stuff, like, I'll be really honest, wigs and crafting stuff. Why are we giving grants for this? A goldfish has won a Guinness World Record for driving. Still safer than the people who run into the Aldis all the time. A goldfish recently earned a Guinness World Record for driving. Blub, the Italian fish, took home the title for the greatest distance covered in a motion-sensing vehicle by a goldfish in 1 minute. Solve cancer? Meh. Job for another day. Make my goldfish a car he can drive? Check, check. What are we doing? I can't. This is why aliens will not give us their technology. This is why I do believe, like, forget the Fermi equation as to why aliens haven't, or the Fermi paradox. Forget that. It's the Mo paradox, or it's the Mo theory. Look, we are the ghetto Walmart of the universe. Change my mind. Aliens lock their door before they come to our neck of the woods, because we have been sending out the shit we do, and it's stuff like this. There is no wonder that the aliens have not reached out to us. Would you reach out to the hill chucks next door with the, Corvair on cement blocks and the toilet bowl planter? Hell no, you don't reach out to them. You let them burn their tires because 'cause you're pretty sure them purple fence posts aren't a lie. Oh, Trollbot. I've got my first troll. Well, aren't you special? You're gonna have to be a little bit, smarter. My my rule is basically the same as Nick's. Be funny. Be funny. And thank you, Squaw Bob, for another membership. And that went to, JW. Welcome back. I haven't seen you in a while. I will tell you guys that it's hard for me to keep up with chat sometimes when I'm reading articles, but I hadn't seen you in a while, so hope you're doing really good. Well, y'all, we are growing. We are collecting trolls. I should get a troll doll for each troll. And thank you, Stinger Bell, for a gifted membership. I know I feel like I should write in my journal, like, "Dear diary, today was awesome sauce. I got my first troll bot." I might. Look, it's weird things that tickle me. And, getting someone I just don't understand the energy one look, I am at the soul, lazy, so I just wouldn't have the energy to do it. Thank you so much. And, um, whoever did that, I mean, Dingus Dingus says that he is a toilet sommelier. He is not a liquor. He is a fine he does like it better right after I freshly cleaned the toilet, but, you know, I will have to ask him as to why he does that, but he rarely answers me. So I'll get back as soon as I can. Hi, Heidel. Let's see here. Now, Thomas de Wolf of the Netherlands crafted a four-wheel vehicle that holds a water tank that is directed by the movements of the goldfish, who was able to travel a total of 40 feet and 3.46 inches to break the world record. Now, the four-wheeler is complete with a motion sensing camera, so when the fish moves to one side of its tank, the car will also move in that direction. Uh, which is pretty interesting. Normally, my job is quite monotonous, so I wanted to create something that would entertain people, turning my serious job into something fun, DeWolf told the record book. The objective is to show people what is possible to achieve with this kind of technology, even when it's not necessarily doing something serious. The out of the box thinker set the record with Blub on the Italian TV show that partners with the Guinness World Records, Lo Show de Record in Milan on January 23rd. Now, the series presenter pointed out that DeWolf's invention could help humans with physical impairments drive as well. Oh, okay. No. I thought we were moving to self-driving cars. I didn't think we were moving to cars that allowed blind people to drive without being able to see. Uh, w and what I mean by that is I thought we were moving to autonomous cars, not, "Well, let's make it so that, we can use echolocation to drive," which maybe is possible, but look, I'm terrified that my children are driving. Actually, I'd probably trust the goldfish sometimes. When they were first learning to drive, I'm gonna tell you I probably trusted the goldfish better, which is why we sent them to a school because they're I look, y'all, I am at the heart of myself an honest person, at least if nothing else in my ability to cope. I am very honest. And I looked at both of my girls when they got old enough to learn how to drive, and I looked at them and I said, "Sweeties, I am willing to teach you to drive. It is not that I don't want to teach you to drive. I just know that there is no amount of vodka gummy combination that will make me, um, less anxious and won't make you anxious." So, my lovely husband is very calm and and he doesn't get ruffled. So I was like, "So I have no problem teaching you how to drive, but I know that I'm an anxious, nevish, tightly wound person, and that isn't generally the vibe that's going to help you not be nervous." And both of my girls were like, "RSVP, no, no, thank you. I'm good. We will leave you alone." So there you go. I Goldfish cars might be the answer to everything. Now, if any one of you are eating breakfast, you do have a warning. The next article does involve Whoopi Goldberg and romance. You have been warned. You have been warned. But this is final form Jesus headlines. These are the reasons that the aliens and the Anunnaki will not come back if you listen to the guy on, A&E. You have been warned. All right, put down your breakfast because I had to see this headlined. And in the best sign of friendship, this has scarred me for life, and now you have to be scarred. Why did anyone need to know this? Why in God's name? Y'all wonder if we're in the end times. This is the shit that makes me wonder, okay? Because didn't no one questioned. No one. You know what no one sat around and questioned? I wonder if Whoopi still has her groove back. Didn't nobody no one in the f and if it was you, if you were the one prevert, Imma need you to come to the front of the congregation because you're gonna need to pay for all of our effing therapy. I don't know who in people decided this was something anyone needed to know, but, they have stopped selling syrup of Ipecac, so if you do need to induce vomiting, show this headline to someone. Whoopi Goldberg, this is all parody. If you can't take a joke, you are a comedian. If you would like to come after me personally, you're going to be looking at a bunch of stuffed animals and Sailor Moon stuff, but it is your prerogative if you cannot take a joke. But I think, should you want to, do remember the Afro Man effect. It is no longer, um, Church of Mo proclamation, hear ye, as the unofficial and, well, in name only leader of the Church of Mo. I would like to posit a motion that it is no longer a Streisand effect. It is now the Afro Man effect. If anyone would like to second the motion, we can push this forward. Screw Barbara Streisand. It is now the Afro Man effect forever and forthwith. Now, I'm not going to get into this article because I already have enough trauma in my life, but apparently, Whoopi Goldberg says after 3 divorces, her smexy time life now consists of hit and runs when she needs it. This is why the aliens won't give us advanced technology. I rest my case. Well, I have always thought that scrapbooking was dangerous, but that was just the money and the amount of supplies one needed. But apparently, glitter is actually dangerous for you. A severe glitter illness that was once spoofed by The Onion is actually a reality. Not all that glitters is gold. Actually, the stuff lining the bottom of your craft drawer is likely bronze and potentially deadly. Considering how difficult it is to clean glitter out of a rug, it's no stretch to imagine the challenge of removing glitter from your lungs. But it's exactly the kind of task that a group of doctors in Argentina were faced with when a 3-year-old girl arrived at the hospital with respiratory distress and altered consciousness, according to the case report that was published in a medical journal about poisonings. Now, while a family member was decorating an ornament, the girl accidentally inhaled a large amount of glitter dust. Now, it also got onto her skin and into her eyes, and she even got some into her digestive tract. Now, the respiratory distress and coughing she experienced were just the beginning. She also vomited, suffered severe abdominal pains, and parts of her skin started to turn blue. In all, the girl developed pretty severe subcutaneous emphysema, a rare condition stemming from air trapped under the skin, and pneumothorax. So basically, the air actually escaped the lung and collapsed the lung. So your lungs kind of work because they're a vacuum. Well, if you mess up that system, lung will not go, or air will not go into the lung. It will go into your abdom your abdominal chamber, and it collapses the lung because that it's basically like an empty balloon. Very dangerous. Doctors treated her with antibiotics and oxygen therapy to stabilize her, but she also needed mechanical ventilation for the next 7 days. Now, satirical newspaper The Onion gave us a preview of these severe complications in 2005 when it published a tongue-in-cheek article about the epidemic of glitter lung affecting the art teacher community. Now, the fictional story centers on the plight of adults who are serially exposed to glitter, suggesting that the glitter particles stay in the air in large enough quantities to do long term damage to the lungs, such as, black lung from miners or mesothelioma if you removed or worked with asbestos. Well played, The Onion. Honestly, I do a comedy morning show. Can I tell you that sometimes the headlines are like, "Is this real or parody?" Well, the Onion article wasn't exactly prophetic. Dangerous toxicity takes a lot more than passive exposure to glitter, and those most at risk are young children, not adults. It turns out that most glitter is made from crushed up bronze, an alloy of copper and tin, combined with zinc or stearin used as a binding agent. Now, it is a severely toxic substance. Copper and zinc are essential minerals that our body does need, but it's very tiny and it has to be in the bioavailable form. Now, the kind of copper and zinc that you get from glitter is not the same. Now, there have been similar cases reported in the last several years, like when a 4-year-old tried to eat gold cake dust that had been labeled non edible, but also non toxic. So again, if you're gonna play with glitter, adults understand, but do be wary of it. Now, that being said, kids are wild animals. You can try to hide glitter, they are gonna find it in your house like bloodhounds. So, do keep an eye on your kiddos if you are giving them glitter, and in hopes that we might get Walt Disney back to save Disney, we have good news, everybody, like from Futurama. And thank you, Squad Bob, for gifting another membership. And that went to I Am Super T. Welcome, welcome. Well, I think they are, but who knows? Especially for those porch pirates. And can I say, to all of you porch pirates out there who decide to steal things but never do cardio, I salute you because there is nothing more motivating and hilarious while walking on my walking pad than watching, let's just say, fluffy Midwestern built Americans, gravity based Americans, attempting to waddle run away with their package like quickly ish and then to have it explodorate and they fall down. Now, I am aware most of these are AI, but the child that grew up with America's Funniest Home Videos loves that. There is never a funnier thing. Bring back America's Funniest Home Videos. Well, frozen mouse brains revived from cryosleep in a scientific first. I almost wish that Disney was cryogenically frozen. Come back, Walt. We love you. Put Alien on standby because science may be inching a tiny step closer to real life cryosleep. In a breakthrough that sounds ripped straight from Ridley Scott, researchers in Germany were letting the Germans play with cryosleep. I mean, no offense, but every time we've left the Germans in charge, shit goes down. I'm saying, how about just for funsies, we let Poland, run stuff for a bit, just switch it up. Now, I would like to say that I do have Germanic blood in me, and I still vote against us having power. Oh. Now, the feat detailed in a new study published in the journal Proceedings of the Natural Academy of Sciences suggests that one day scientists may be able to place brain tissue or even entire organs into a deep freeze and revive them later without wrecking the delicate circuitry that makes them tick. It's been a long sticking point because the kind of basic science behind it is that when ice crystals form, they pierce the cell wall and it destroys living tissue. Now, some plants can survive because they have a very strong cell wall made out of cellulose, and that sometimes resists the crystal formation across cell walls. But apparently, they've been able to do it, so we are one step closer to Steve Martin's Man with Two Brains becoming a reality. Um, when biological tissue freezes the old-fashioned way, crystals inside the cell forms jagged shards that shred membranes and sever microscopic connections between the neurons. In the brain, those connections are everything, the infrastructure behind thought, memory, and consciousness. To dodge that icy spiral of death, neurologists at the University of Egerland Nuremberg turned to a technique known as vitrification, a rapid cooling method that transforms liquid into a glass like state before ice crystals can form. Instead of freezing into rigid ice, the tissue becomes something closer to molecular glass. Chemical activity essentially pauses in place. Now, for their test run, researchers flash froze thin slices of mouse brain tissue containing the hippocampus, the region critical for thinking, learning, and memory, and plunged them into liquid nitrogen at negative 196 degrees Celsius. Now, the samples then stayed suspended within this deep freeze anywhere from 10 minutes to a week, and then they were thawed. Now, scientists carefully reheated the tissue at lightning speed while flushing out the chemical antifreeze solution used during freezing, a delicate balancing act designed to prevent the cells from swelling, cracking, or bursting. Now, when those revived brain slices were put under a microscope, the team saw something remarkable that the, microscopic structures linking neurons, the synapses, did appear to remain intact. Now, these are still early studies, so don't expect them to defrost Uncle Walt anytime soon. We're starting with mice. And it does seem like when the neurons were treated with electrical stimulus, they did respond. So these are very positive things. But again, this is the very early stages. So while really interesting, we are probably not going to get space truckers anytime soon, which is upsetting because, I mean, I'd be kind of okay with like space truckers. At this point, we need Ridley Scott. And in our final story of the day, because I do like to end us with a bright story, a happy thing to remind us that even though there are a lot of craptastic headlines, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of more good stories that don't always get headlines. So when I find them, I give them to you guys. And our story today is just awesome. And much respect to this hero. 1814, who has been diagnosed with a rare cancer, used his single make-a-wish gift not for himself, but for others in his community. A Georgia teen used his single make-a-wish to help others in his community. Now, Jude Baker has been diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma, a rare and aggressive form of cancer that affects bone and surrounding tissue, when he was about 12 years old. Now he is 14 and he began chemotherapy very shortly after his diagnosis. Now he said it was even more painful than reality that he might succumb to his illness. It wasn't even the fear of knowing I could die, he explained, recalling his treatment. It was the chemo. It hurt. And I have heard that. I severely hope within my lifetime that the people in power, the people that have the ability to change lives, will find another way to treat cancer that isn't so torturous. It shouldn't be that hard. It shouldn't be a profit thing. Yes, I understand it takes a lot of money to research cancer, but w- we are experiencing a technological breakthrough that is more advanced than any other humans on the face of the planet currently. If you're telling me that we can't get the smartest people together to figure something out as a species, we can't conquer this in my lifetime, that's ridiculous. Now, because of his diagnosis, Baker qualified for a wish with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. It's a nonprofit that grants wishes to children aged 3 to 17 who are diagnosed with critical illnesses. And while most kids do ask for fun things like a trip or maybe meeting a celebrity, Baker instead asked for something different. Some to help the homeless in his area. Quote, I got out of my own version of heck and I want to help others who are in similar situations their own version, he explained to local news about why he chose to use the Make-A-Wish to help others. I want to help them out because I was in a bad situation and they were too, Baker added. Now, Lindsay or Emily Campbell, who coordinates gifts for Make-A-Wish in Georgia, told the local outlet of Baker his only wish was to give back to his community. That's not a wish we even tell kids is an option. Usually we tell them you can wish to go somewhere or to be with someone or to meet someone, but Jude came up with it all on his own, and he never had a backup wish. Make-A-Wish collected sleeping bags, packed backpacks full of supplies, and prepared hot meals for homeless individuals in the area for the day. Over 300 people ultimately received assistance because of Baker's Make-A-Wish Day, wish. Very sweet. Now, the teenager who is in remission said he hopes his wish helped remind others that there are always opportunities to assist people in need. It doesn't have to come from a wish. You can help too, Baker said. Now, Kevin Godfrey, a local business owner, heard about Baker's heartwarming request and has since launched a GoFundMe for the teen and his family in hopes that Baker can use those funds to do something for himself. Our goal is simple. We want to raise money to send Jude and his family on a trip they'll never forget, a chance to get them to step away from hospitals, treatments, and worry and simply enjoy time together to make memories. Godfrey wrote on the fundraising page. Now, the GoFundMe has an ultimate goal of $5,000. But just a reminder for us that, yeah, there's a lot of things telling us that, teens are doing terrible and there are some concerns in our world. It's not perfect, but there are tons of stories like this that you just never hear about. Mr. Mo and I went last Thursday for brisket, and because we both ate brisket, those are coats. We have church ladies of all denominations right now at our local Walmart because of the Lenten meals that all the denominations are attending. Um, Now that the coats are going on clearance, we have church ladies buying out the coats, the snowsuits, the jackets, the overalls. And then next year when it starts turning cold, anyone needs them, adult, baby, man, child, woman, they can come up and ask for a coat and they've got one. So you don't hear about those stories. You don't hear about the local community, getting together to pitch in. You don't hear about neighbors, hearing about a house fire and gathering, whatever you need. So do remember that, yeah, the headlines are somewhat craptastic. It's a weird timeline, but there are tons and tons of good things going on. So remember, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, but have a sassy mouth and carry a can of bitch fire because kindness doesn't equal doormat. We still have to get the aliens back. Just for the guy with the crazy hair. Look, in my lifetime before he passes, I want that man to meet the Anunnaki. For him, I just want it to happen. Mr. Mo is like, why do you worry about the happiness of the ancient alien guy? And I was like, well, he seems like a real sweet fella, and I just want him to be happy. He's like, you are the weirdest person I have ever met. You don't like people, but you will actively wish and pray for the happiness of random weird people that you don't even know. I was like, yep. So I will see you guys. I am going to be working on videos. The question and answer stream will probably be happening on Sunday, so do plan on that. We have Ramen of Regret, Saturday, so don't forget that. I might be changing the time on that because I know Nick and I promised to do Laura Owens stuff on Saturday, so I need to touch base with him because, I've slept and my brain doesn't remember. That being said, the rest of the week will probably be, shorter streams just as I am still getting over things. That is the one thing I do not like about, uh, well, CRPS. Oh, the poll. I needed to end it. I looked over it, it didn't end it, so Jeffrey, I will be trying to pull all of Afro Man footage, so we will be doing a speed run of the trial just ourselves. Uh, I I will, be going through everything. I I have just needed to kind of unplug this week, and for the love of y'all, explain the fairness of this stuff. But Mr. Mo has the motivation and energy, uh, of, like, youngest most feral, and I am, like, over here trying to figure out where he's getting this energy from because I need a little bit of that. So we will be quick watching, the Afro Man trial. I'm just gonna pull all the clips up, so I will be throwing that up here in a little bit. And then I will be throwing up, a thumbnail and stuff for the Sunday stream. So have a wonderful day, you guys. I will see you in just a little bit. Bye, you guys.